Susan.
Hi, Max.
Hello, everyone. We're here with Susan Rahey. She is going to tell us a bit about herself, and we're going to ask some questions.
Excellent. Go right ahead.
First, we want to start off with your title here at the Epilepsy Association of the Maritimes.
So I am the Education and Support Coordinator and Chief Cook and Bottle Washer.
It's fancy. So tell us a bit about you, a bit about like your past role, and then your progress to being here with us.
Okay, so this is a post-retirement gig. So before this, I worked full-time in healthcare from the time I was a young child, and including time in university. And then my eventual career, I ended up working with people with seizure disorders in one capacity or another. And I ended my career in healthcare in 2020 as the epilepsy program coordinator for the QE2 Health Sciences Center. I came to work here in 2022, having spent 2 years working with the COVID screening program, an experience I wish to never repeat. Coming here,
COVID wasn't fun.
no, COVID was not fun for anybody. So let's see, fun fact about you.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of fun facts.
She says she doesn't. I think she's a very fun person.
I'm a very boring person. I've been married forever to a wonderful person who helps me out every day with this job. I have 2 amazing kids who I could not manage living without. Fun fact, the only fun fact is that I really love watching detective shows. And I like trying to figure out who the killer is, and I don't mind the gore. In fact, I appreciate and love the gore. And Hannibal was one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially the brain eating part. Yeah, really like that.
Well, brains, epilepsy,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Fun fact. Okay.
So what got you involved in the epilepsy field? You mentioned before, like you were in university, one way or another, you kind of had someone involved something with epilepsy. Is that why you chose to go into the
Yeah, I didn't choose it, actually. I couldn't get a job after I graduated university. It was a year when many people with undergraduate degrees were not being able to obtain positions. I was still working at the hospital in just a general clerical role, and a person I had worked with previous summers came up and said, hey, they have an opening in the EEG lab for a trainee. Maybe you'd be interested in that. So I went down, and the interview lasted about 2 minutes. And I got that job, and then I built on my career from there and spent a lot of my life working with EEG technology, standards of practice, training people, and then in addition to that, work directly providing clinical care to people with seizure disorders. So it fell into my lap, and it was a lucky day for me.
Sounds like it. Now we have you with us.
This is true. You do. You want me to tell you why you have me?
Because you love me.
No, well, I do love you. I've loved you since you were a little girl, and this is why I criticize your mother all the time. But anyway, it was your mother. And so I had been retired a couple of years. I got an email from your mother introducing me to a person who at that time was the executive director, and said she could really use your help. And that just led to this job. And I'm the executive director who I was involved with quit before I started.
Changeover and all that funness.
Lots of changeover.
So what do you love most about the work that you do?
I'm a very nosy person. Really, really like finding out stuff. Like, that's why I like those murder mysteries, so I can like find out stuff. And I really like finding out about people and what makes them tick and what their problems are, and if I can do anything to help them overcome their problems, like find another way to do something, or set them on a path that they didn't think of, or introduce them to information or opportunities that they didn't know exist, or maybe just listen and affirm what they're saying and understand the horrible stuff that they're going through sometimes in life. And that's why I love this job, because it gives me a chance to provide help to people that I might otherwise not have.
Fair enough. So that kind of leads to the next question, but why is epilepsy awareness and education so important?
So the big thing that people suffer from other than seizures, of course, is the way society treats them. You can call it stigma if you want, but it's just the way society treats people who have any chronic disease. But for sure, when someone has a chronic disease which could result in them losing consciousness or doing strange behaviors that are uncomfortable for people to witness. So it is really important to educate everyone, not just the people directly involved, but everyone, so that there can be better understanding of the disorder and better understanding of the people that suffer from the disease. So I'm a fan of Ted Lasso, the TV show, and Ted Lasso emphasizes the necessity of curiosity over judgment. And so I hope that people are curious and want to learn, and because they learn, they will be then less judgmental, and people with seizure disorders will suffer less from society's treatment of them.
That's why I love this, like, when we go into like the schools, especially the younger grades, like, they learn it the younger they learn it, the more it's like already in their brain. They're like, oh, it's normal because they've known it my entire life.
Exactly, yes. I really like the kids too for that reason. And they all want to know. And like adults don't ask questions.
Kids
ask questions.
And like when we were in PEI on Purple Day, one of the kids had asked a question of like, it was like, I didn't use medical terminology, but it was pretty darn close. And I'm like, you're 6,
Yep.
roughly.
Yep.
How do you know these words? I'm like, I can ask their education coordinator. That's not a question that I know the answer to.
Well,
I was like, look, yeah, they ask such good questions.
I'm going to give a plug here to my hometown. So I went to my hometown last year and I did a presentation to, and I think a middle school maybe. No, it was an elementary school. So it was an elementary school. It didn't exist when I was there. Like all those schools are all torn down now, turned into old age homes or whatever. But these kids, the questions they asked, they were better questions than I had been asked in any adult session. Any adult session. I'm very proud of them. So yeah, the kids are great. But it is also really good to have be able to speak to adults, and despite the fact that they don't ask you questions.
I wonder why they don't ask. Like,
I think
I wonder why it's just like
know.
a drastic difference in the question asking.
Adults are always I think they're always very self-conscious. They're afraid that their question will be a stupid question. No questions are ever stupid, but they think their questions are stupid, or someone will look at them and say, "You don't know that already," or there's a million reasons why we're all so self-conscious. But the other thing with adults that's interesting though is that many will stop and talk afterwards.
This is
right?
true. Not to be
when
the
they
center
can
of
speak to you
attention.
privately. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's fair. Which is like understandable, but it's also like, you don't know someone else in the audience or group had that same question, or might have it late down the road, and he's already answered if you ask it.
Yeah,
a person.
I agree, but you can't make people do stuff, right? I can just tell them everything.
Truth serum.
Then you know what? I talk a lot too, so maybe there's no time for questions. It's entirely possible.
Like, you want to get all the information out. And
I have 10 seconds. Anybody got a question? Yeah.
10 seconds Q&A.
Yeah, exactly.
Start wrapping them.
Yeah. No, sometimes I wonder if I should have done this because it's an extension of what I did my whole life, and maybe I should have done something different. And I did try something different, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm not talking about the COVID screening thing, but when I think I have something to offer, right?
Definitely.
I think I have something to offer that maybe is unique, because you don't find this a lot, that somebody spent their whole life working in the field and brings with that experience a wealth of knowledge that can maybe fill in some gaps. Like I tend to think sometimes I fill in a lot of gaps. The healthcare system today is it's not what it was 20 years ago. The pressures and strains on the system are unrelenting, and part of that has to do obviously with the lack of primary care providers, but it's just a different world now. And so when a person goes to a physician and is given a diagnosis like this, their life is irrevocably altered from that moment.
Oh,
Nothing is the same. Whatever they thought they were going to do tomorrow is probably not what they're going to do tomorrow or next year or when they're 50. Things have to change. And physicians, I know, are doing their very best. And they're not just physicians, but the people who work with the physicians, the other healthcare providers, they're doing their very best to help prepare people. But it's hard to do when you're seeing one after another, and the pressures, the wait lists are so long. It's difficult. So because I have some knowledge, I think I can help make the transition from the past life to the real life that's happening now and that's going to continue. And another plug here, I want to throw a plug in for PACES, which is an amazing 9-week program offered free of charge to anyone in the Maritimes or any other province where you don't have your own PACES program. Check us out online.
EAM offers it.
Yeah.
You adapted it from.
So it's not adapted. We
adopted.
Yeah. So we are part of a larger group that originates at the University of Washington in the United States. And this program was developed in the early to mid 2000s as a CDC, a Center for Disease Control initiative. It's run out of the University of Washington by a wonderful woman named Erica. She's a psychologist. And all of us who work with the PACES program are trained by Erica and by her former co-worker, Robert, who unfortunately passed away. And they keep in touch with us. They have regular monthly meetings with all the facilitators. Oh, and there's not just facilitators like me. We have peer facilitators as well who represent the people with the disease. So when you attend a session, you know that there are going to be people there who are like you, right? Not just your co-participants, but somebody in the sort of organization of the session. So I would, I tell you, that's a wonderful thing. I just wish that had existed a long time ago.
So can you also tell us a bit about the newest program? I think it's newer, that we just started, parents and caregivers.
Yeah. So I should have said PACES is meant for anyone over the age of 18, and you have to have the diagnosis. So it's not really meant for parents and caregivers. So we realized that this was a gap. There are no existing, that I'm aware of, parent and caregiver training programs per se. And it's something that we had discussed in our PACES groups, that there was nothing really for parents and caregivers. So what we did here was we formed an interest group. We reviewed all of the information that's provided to people with seizure disorders to try and find out what would be applicable for a parent or caregiver so that parents and caregivers could have a similar program. So we did our pilot project with 3 parents, caregivers, and 3 peer facilitators and me back in May, and we hope to continue that. It's we started out with a 2-session. It's not long enough. We're going to have to expand it out to more than 2, maybe 3 or 4 sessions. But it really is meant to help parents and caregivers understand their role, but also understand what their loved one is going through.
Yeah, I'm really benefiting from a program that you guys have started. Definitely bridges that gap after PACES.
Mm-hmm.
What are some highlights of your time working with EAM?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so EAM's been in operation now since 1980. And I probably started volunteering with EAM towards the latter of the 1980s. I can guarantee you for sure in 1989 I was involved, but I believe before that, I'd have to go back through the old pictures.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of stuff for EAM in terms of educational stuff. I was asked often to come and do presentations. But then in the year 2000, my job changed, and I got to write my own job description pretty well. And one of the things I wrote in there is that I would be a liaison with the lay organizations, not just EAM, the Epilepsy Association, but also the ALS Society. And so I did a ton of stuff and did a lot of school presentations as well as other presentations, and myself and Dr. Tanya Omashade, the neuropsychologist at the QE2, we ran the support group, the adult support group, for a year. And that was a really interesting thing too. That was back when we were looking after all 3 provinces, but the support groups were only held in person in Nova Scotia with like people coming in on their phone and stuff. It wasn't a very good way to do it. We don't do it that way anymore. With COVID, we all learned how to use Zoom and Teams, and now we do just about everything on Teams, which I think, even though some people say they would prefer person to person, this allows us to reach the wider audience, and I'm much happier doing it that way. So,
especially where EAM services all the maritime provinces, people can't always make that travel. So the
No, it would be inefficient, right? You
Yeah.
wouldn't expect someone to drive down from Fredericton just for an hour-long session. So I like that, and through the years, it's been up and down, right? But anyway, it's been a part. Association has been part of my life now since the 1980s, long time. And did I ever think I'd end up volunteering here? Absolutely not. I picked out my volunteer organization. I knew where I was going, and that's what I did. And then your mother, sorry, Angela, butted her nose into my business, and I ended up
I mean,
coming
I
here.
guess you guys have that in common.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I
don't put my nose in
Mom's
her
in the room.
business,
She's
yeah.
the camera operator. So.
Yeah. Hi, Angela.
She's
So-
laughing behind the camera
Yeah.
when we were talking about her.
So lots of stuff, and it's been, as I said, there've been lots of ups and downs, but now I work here, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity to provide the service that I do.
And we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
So you get a lot of calls
Tons.
at the office.
Yeah.
What are some of the most common phone calls you get that are like with most asked questions, most what is most people kind of themes?
It's a real like just a whole mishmash of things, Cassidy. Lots of times it's trying to understand what this means, like, or even accept the diagnosis. A lot of that, right? Like why would this happen? What does this mean when the doctor says this? Is this like, what would I do if my medication is not working? Like, what am I supposed to do? Or I can't get an appointment. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Can't get in to see anybody. What do I do? Or, honest to God, the biggest one is I have no family doctor. I have no family doctor. But I'm really lucky. I have had made some great connections with other organizations. And I have a wonderful colleague who works at the hospital. And I have actually two wonderful colleagues who work at the hospital. I have three wonderful colleagues who work at Dog Life. Three major wonderful colleagues that work at the hospital who are always there if I have a question or if I'm looking for, what's the wait list like now? How can I get somebody in faster? What's the process to get somebody in? You name it. And so I'm very privileged that way, but it often has to do with access to healthcare and understanding what people have been told.
Yeah. That's fair. Understandable. With that, and what is a piece of advice you would give to people with epilepsy, their families, friends?
So when you're reading the internet, don't read the AI stuff when you Google something because it's often not correct. It's one piece of
I think
advice.
it's like still learning.
Well, learning is necessary. That's the big thing. But I just want to point out when you're in the process of learning.
The AI things are still learning to
Yeah.
give the right information.
But you know what? Information that you get from an educated person is going to answer the exact question that you want answered. It's not going to go off on AI tangents. So, but that's just one thing. The most important thing, I think, is that you look for information, that you ask for information, that you don't assume you know the answers to things because you probably don't. I don't. Okay?
Yeah.
And you probably don't either. So, and don't just choose one source. Like, don't go to Mike's homepage. Like, seriously. There are some websites that have good information and some websites that don't. I always suggest that people go to a place like the Mayo Clinic. They have really good information. Epilepsy.com, which is the website for the Epilepsy Foundation of America, offers amazing resources. Coming to us here at Epilepsy Maritimes, if we don't have the information, we can help you get it. The CEA, the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance, has their own website that offers information as well. But the other things too is that you have to read critically. You have to compare things.
Yeah.
You have to go between sites and say, gee, they didn't say that, but they said this. And I learn every day. I learn every day. I read things. I take online courses. I'm constantly trying to improve my knowledge so I can offer more information to you. And if someone acts like they know it all, they're not the right person to talk to.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but that's what I think. And also be willing to question, but in a non-aggressive
It's more like
way.
growing up, mom always said we're open to question and like ask questions. And it's more like debate than it is. It's more debate than it is a challenge.
But I get your point.
You can ask
There's no
questions
way,
and
yeah,
not be
not be
like
assertive, not be aggressive, and
Yeah,
not be challenging.
and it's hard to not go in sometimes if you've been dismissed a lot and have your so you automatically go in having your guard up. So that
Yeah.
can make you come across aggressive.
I don't
So
disagree
just,
with
like,
you,
take a
but
breath and
you have to
before you ask
recognize that
questions.
the person you're talking to now is probably not the person who dismissed you before.
Exactly.
So give them a chance. Also, though, recognizing the pressures that they're under.
Yeah.
Right? And recognizing that maybe you're not going to get the answer that you want from them because they're telling you the truth from their perspective. No doctor knows you. Not really. They can't.
They're not living in
Like
your body.
they're not living in your body, but not just that. Like they don't have the 3 hours for you to say, "Well, I was born in 19 blah blah blah, and my parents did
Just walk
this."
in with a
and,
book. Here's
you
my
know,
biography.
Like, seriously, they can't. Right?
Yeah.
They can't. So you have to distill it down to the important features. But you can also call me, and I have pretty much unlimited time. You can talk to me. You can tell me everything. I can only tell you what my opinion is, though, and explain to you how you might get further information.
And a final question, I guess, would be why is it important that people watching, people who see this video, and people in general support the Epilepsy Association of the Maritimes? Like, how does their support help us?
So we are a non-profit charity, which means we're not supposed to accumulate funds, and what funds we have are supposed to be used to the benefit of the people we serve, which is all of you out there who have seizure disorders, or who are parents or caregivers, or who are interested in making a change in the lives of people with this chronic disease. So we can't do that, though, if we don't have financial support. So financial support is really important. It probably, to be honest with you, is the most important thing you can do, is support us financially. But we also need you to support us intellectually, emotionally, any way that you can, because we're like a little tiny place here. You know, currently we have 2.6 employees, and we have a volunteer who's working full time, doing everything that another employee could be doing. But that's all we have. That's all we have. And we have a board of directors who is there to support us. So when we're out there trying to get help, we need you to put in a good word for us, to support us, to say to somebody, hey, they helped my daughter, or they didn't help my daughter, but they tried to help my daughter, or my son, or my husband, or my whatever. And, there's little things that people can do. They can do, the easiest thing is that little Facebook birthday thing, which you can raise a few dollars that way. Or
sorry, because I thought you meant like say happy birthday on her page.
No.
But I remember that someone did that for EM recently.
Yep.
It was their birthday, and they set up like, it wasn't like a GoFundMe, but it was a link where you could donate, and
Yep.
that money we could donate to the association.
Yep. And we have other ways to donate as well. You can go on to Canada Helps and make a donation to us anytime. And actually, you can do like a monthly donation on Canada Helps. We have fundraisers, which we could very much use your support with our fundraisers. You just need to follow our social media, and you'll see what fundraisers we have coming up. If you're talking to your MLA or your MP, please put in a plug for us. And remember that the funding that we get, if not from donors, is government funding. And governments are being inundated with requests for funding all the time. Everybody wants a piece of them, right? We need money, we need money. Well, we actually do need money. And so we would appreciate it if you have any government members in your back pocket that you mention us, because we do need some help with funding. And we would like it if you would tell them what role we played in your life and how we helped you. And I mean, these personal stories are really important to us.
It's like down in the trenches, right? Like it's the real impact. It's not like statistics are good,
Sure
but they aren't. They're statistics. Having actual stories, it helps give that personal touch and more of a connection. I think people appreciate and can kind of catch that more.
Yeah.
But also too, I wanted to add maybe like, aside from the 2.6 employees with the funding, all the EAM's things, everything you guys service, that's all
free.
All free.
All free. I mean, we offer free educational sessions to anyone who's interested. We can do them virtually or face to face. It doesn't matter. I will do it to one person. I will do it to a family group. I will do it for hundreds of kids in a school or thousands of people online. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me how many people want to be involved in this. There was one thing I was going to add, and that is that we had talked about how important education is, right? And how important it is that you know the facts. Because sometimes when you don't know the facts and you tell people things that are erroneous, that erroneous information gets passed along and passed along and passed along, and people get very upset and they feel that the system has failed them, when in fact the system maybe hasn't failed them. Maybe you just didn't know the facts or the truth or the way to get the support that you needed. So that's where you should come to us and say, hey, I'm having this problem. I don't know how to get past it. Like, can you give me some suggestions? I offer lots of suggestions. Like, most of them you can take or leave. It's up to you. But sometimes I feel quite strongly about things. Being, when you go to your doctor, don't be aggressive and don't be judgmental of them. And remember, they have a job to do, and it's a hard job. It's a hard job. Imagine if you had to, every day, you had to sit in front of somebody and say, hey, okay, now you have this chronic disease. It's never going away. You're going to have to take these pills that can cause unacceptable side effects. If you're a woman, you have to be, monitored during your pregnancy. If you are, if you're driving, you may not be, like, this is not easy. It's really hard. And so recognize that. They're not there just because, they like giving you bad news. They don't. Nobody wants to do that. And they take that home with them. So recognize that too.
What does erroneous mean?
Erroneous, wrong.
Sounds a lot like macaroni.
I know it does, but it's not
I'm very
erroneous.
distracted.
Macaroni. There's a little bit different there, but I get it. I can see why you'd confuse the two. Yeah. Many people have macaroni.
Many.
I know.
We got some Katie macaroni at
I
home.
know. Oh, I love it. It's my favorite. That and hot dogs. Yeah. Yeah, when the kids were little and my husband would go away somewhere and he would say to the kids, what did mom make you for dinner tonight? Macaroni and cheese and hot dogs. And we had ketchup too. That's, that added a little bit of nutrition there. Yeah.
Oh, it's the tomato.
It is.
The
It's
veggies.
tomato. Exactly.
Veggies, the dairy,
Speaking
the
of
meat.
which, like, buy French's, it's made in Canada. Just want to say that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
No, I think you're done.
I think.
Anything else you'd like to ask me, Cass?
What's your favorite song?
Oh my God. Okay, so it's Thunder Road by Bruce Springsteen is my favorite song because of the line, this town's full of losers. And I'm going out of here to win. I'm not kidding. I felt like that when I was 18. I don't feel like that anymore. But pulling out of here to win, that's it. Town's full of losers and I'm pulling out of here to win. But I love my hometown. I do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you guys for watching. They can. But I was gonna say, if you guys have watched this and you guys have your own questions, feel free to message and call. Like she said, she has lots of time.
Oh, sorry, 902-429-2633, extension 2, Susan.Rahey at epilepsymaritimes.org. Or you can just send a Facebook message, and if I see it, I'll answer you directly. Otherwise, you'll get this automated thing that says, we welcome your message, or blah, blah, whatever it says, and then eventually we'll get back to you. Yeah.
Okay. So that is all for today, guys, and this has been Susan.
And this has been Cassidy.
Bye.
Bye.